Hi guys, what is up? It is your girl Paige Cakes, if you are nasty, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, so today I thought I would come through and give you guys a little bit of a different tea video, if you will, because I'm kind of sick and tired of talking about the same kind of people over and over again. Manny MUA, Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, James Charles. But I will say as a footnote, I really do feel extremely sorry for what has happened recently to Nikki Tutorials, and I'm very glad that her and her family are safe. With that being said, I do want to kind of just delve into some obscure drama, because you know that that's the kind of that I love. Drama that people aren't necessarily talking about that I'm finna talk about. I hope that all of you guys have got your teacups ready, or maybe your glasses of wines if you're of age, and a few snacks, because today we are going to be talking about some very obscure drama from a different corner of YouTube. So just to give you a little bit of a prelude as to what it is that we are going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about a young lady by the name of Zoe Alexander. She was an X Factor contestant. Jesus Christ, say that while you're drunk. X Factor contestant who had a less than successful audition. Her audition went so bad, it looked a little bit like this. But in a recent video which she posted onto YouTube, a video titled Zoe Alexander X Factor The Truth, she has made herself out to be a perpetual victim and basically lied about pretty much everything, which is absolutely infuriating and disgusting to me. She has a huge problem with Thames TV and Psycho Entertainment. So we're going to be delving into what it is that she said, what it is that she lied about, and why on earth the internet have rallied behind somebody who genuinely is lying to their face. They are straight-faced believing whatever she sells. I thought the internet was a world full of cynics. Well, I was proven wrong. But before we get into all that, if you like this kind of content from me, if you like the more obscure drama, please don't forget to smash the like button or the dislike. It's all engagement, honey. It doesn't really matter. And also, if you are brand new here, hello, my name is Paige. Feel free to subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell so that you never miss a notification from me here on the Petty Paige channel. With that being said, let's get straight into today's really weird drama, straight after this intro.
Most of these bitches is petty.
Okay, so Zoe Alexander. Who on earth is Zoe Alexander? Well, you probably don't recognize the name, but you will most definitely recognize the audition. Although this audition aired on ITV in the UK, her audition has been viewed online 16 million times, and that's since 7 years ago, and has been included in multiple X Factor auditions gone wrong compilation videos. So you can imagine how many times this audition has been played on the internet. So if you're not familiar with her audition, basically she is a young lady from Caerphilly, Wales, or if you are from Wales, my Welsh people, it's Caerphilly. Borda bitch. And at the time of auditioning, she was a Pink tribute act. So basically what happened is she auditioned for X Factor, she was successful to go through to see the judges, and then after that point, she went to see the judges and it all fell apart on TV. But she said a lot of things that were inconsistent with what the show actually showed, and I went through frame by frame to see if anything could have been edited in, and just like literally none of it made sense. So let's start from the top, shall we? Zoe Alexander breaks down how the audition process actually works for X Factor, which a lot of people, if you are watching it on TV, wouldn't know. I've auditioned for X Factor like 4 times or something like that back in my years and years ago when I was a teenager. When they opened it up so that 14 plus could go in, remember those years? Yeah, Lil Paige was auditioning back then. Anyway, she showed everybody how the audition process worked, which a lot of people didn't know. Stated the X Factor audition process isn't actually a true audition process because the people who are successful are pre-chosen before they even get to see the judges. Which, I mean, I pretty much thought everybody knew that there was pre-audition phases before you actually went over and saw the judges, but it seems as if a lot of people didn't really realise that, and that when you are doing the first audition for X Factor, you will be going to see a member of production staff and not actually like Simon Cowell and the gang. I sent a video in online, like those people do, and then I got a phone call inviting me down to the head office in London of Thames TV,
which they confirmed by email, and here it is.
I went down there and sang in it. It was just a boring office, to be honest with you. Nothing special at all. Bit underwhelming. Went into a little room, sang in front of a couple of producers. They got to choose out of everyone who was there who went to sing for the Sony woman. I got chosen to go and sing in front of the Sony woman. Went and sang in front of her. I sang Jessie J, Nobody's Perfect, and then went home.
Simon Cowell's X Factor is not a fair competition. In fact, it's not a competition at all. Thames TV and Sony Records decide who will be successful long before the auditions take place.
After being successful at her pre-audition phase, she actually made it to see the judges. But prior to that, the team at X Factor basically had already created a narrative in their mind. They basically wanted her to play a Pink tribute act who wanted to move away from that identity but could never move away from that identity as she continued to perform Pink. They knew that was going to stir up a conflict in terms of how the judges were going to react to stuff, so for that reason she was pre-selected to fail. So just so you're aware, in the pre-audition phase, you are essentially chosen to either succeed or fail. You are going to be either one of the good ones that the production are going to put through because they think that there's something special about you, or that you have a great personality. And then there's on the opposite end of the spectrum, which is all of the failures. So all of the people who basically go onto stage and make an absolute fool of themselves. And unfortunately, even though she is a person with a certain level of talent, she was selected to be one of the people who made a fool of themselves. The X Factor asked her for a set list of what it is that she wanted to perform on the day of 5 songs, and then shortly after, the X Factor staff emailed her back and basically coerced her into doing a Pink song as well. So she sent them back a revised set list, including the Pink song at the top. I got a phone call from the producer of the X Factor inviting me to the CIA in Cardiff to sing in front of the judges. Brilliant. He said to me I had to email them 5 songs that I wanted to sing on the day. So I sent them this.
As you can see in my choices, no Pink songs.
Within hours, he'd rung me back saying to me that they wanted me to sing a Pink song. I wasn't instantly convinced, but he basically said that if I didn't, I wouldn't be going on the show. But he made it sound pretty good. He bolstered it up and said that they'd love it if I sang a Pink song. It'd go down so well if I sang a Pink song. And so I agreed. And so I sent him a revised song list, and I sent him this.
This is the email I sent, now including So What, the song they insisted I sang if I wanted to take part in the show. As soon as the X Factor producers had successfully coerced me into singing the Pink song, they were eager to confirm my audition before the judges. So
then comes the audition day. She said that when it came time to them filming and speaking to her, everything that they were talking about was Pink this, Pink that, Pink this, Pink that, and nobody was really interested in her story. And when they finally started asking her questions about herself, she noted that she used to get bullied in school. And then the producer questioned her and said, "Do you think that Pink may have been bullied at school?" At this point, she was exhausted and exasperated. All he wanted to talk about was Pink. Have you seen Pink live? Do you know Pink's real name? Do you think you're like Pink in real life?
It was just pink, 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 pink. Finally, he asked a few questions about me. The thing is, I was bullied in school. I was bullied really badly in school. He somehow turned that around to pink. He said, "Do you think Pink was bullied in school?" The X Factor producer during this interview insisted on persistently referencing Pink, no matter what subject he was questioning me about. I began to question whether or not who I actually was had any relevance. This line of relentless comparison to Pink went on for at least an hour. By the end of the interview, I became exasperated and upset, as it seemed the whole thing revolved around Pink, and that anything that was actually about me personally was irrelevant. I ended the interview tearful and frustrated. Even though the interview lasted for more than an hour, the X Factor producers chose to show a few seconds from the end of the interview showing me tearful and upset, depicting me as an emotional fool.
The late great Caroline Flack was actually one of the presenters at that time, and Caroline offered her a bottle of water as well as a piece of advice that basically there is more than one way to enter the industry, and if something doesn't feel right to you, then you are more than free to leave. A piece of information that she probably should have taken. So next up comes her audition, and then when she gets to her audition, it goes horrendously wrong. Now, for obvious reasons, I cannot show you all of the clips from the original audition. If I can include them, I will, but I can't make any promises because I don't know how this is going to go in editing. I don't know if YouTube are going to allow me to show this piece of footage, but if not, it will be definitely in the description box down below for you to check for yourself. And she describes a few key things that just simply do not make any sense to me. So the part about this section that really just kind of gets me annoyed, if you will, is the fact that she lied. She basically told her audience that the way that you are perceiving it to be was already distorted because of the way the X Factor had been treating a lot of their contestants at that time. She set the narrative up from the outset that they were 100% against her, which I don't dispute at all. It is a reality TV show at the end of the day, and regardless of whether you want it to have a level of morality or ethics, unfortunately, all they are interested in is entertaining their audience, paid sitting audience in the auditorium, as well as us, the viewers at home. I mean, let's be honest, people such as Rylan Clark shouldn't have made it all the way to the live finals of X Factor. After her extremely angry and aggressive outburst, she's now trying to reframe it to be hyper-edited, mostly fabricated, and filmed in a way to make her look like the bad guy. So let's look at a few things that I found extremely inconsistent from what we're being shown and would be extremely hard to edit in post to make look real. And when I say I went frame by frame of this audition, I really did, because I wanted to know, did I look at that different? Because I remembered it at the time thinking she was real cray cray, but then I thought to myself, did I remember it wrong? Maybe they did frame it in a way to make her look bad. So I went through frame by frame, and I promise you guys, I can't see anything. So tell me if you guys can, but I really can't see anything that she's saying to be correct. So one of the first things that she said was that she never threw the mic, she dropped it.
And that was when I was talking to the audience and trying to explain to them how I'd been manipulated all day. Then I realised that they'd turned the microphone off. And that was when I threw it to the floor. And I threw it like this to the floor. But somehow in the video I threw it like that. And I didn't. I threw it to the floor because I was just disgusted and I wanted to get out my hand. The producers had no choice but to turn off the microphone. Had they not done, I would have revealed everything to the entire audience.
In the footage, you can clearly see her like throwing her arm that way. That would be extremely hard to edit in and would be extremely time consuming for the editing staff to do. So when she states that she dropped the mic, but her arm movement is showing that, I don't know what way the mic would have went besides very far away from her, because she did not have a downward motion with her arm. The second thing that I found inconsistent is she stated that she shook the rig and that the rig was attached to lights and there's no way that she could have pushed it over.
And I got to the side of the stage and there was this massive stanchion, the type that holds up like lighting fixtures in theatres and auditoriums and things. That, I don't know if you know, they're huge. They are absolutely huge because they're holding up all those lights and cameras and things. And I saw it and I shook it. I don't know why I shook it. I just shook it, and I didn't throw it over. I just shook it. I couldn't have possibly thrown it over because it was attached to lighting fixtures and attached to the other side of the stage. So that was completely falsified. Another example of the X Factor's creative editing. Once again, manufacturing a scene when the actual events did not suit their storyline.
Whereas in this scene, you can literally see her throwing the rig and the rig falling behind her. This rig actually seems as if it's a stage prop rig to make the backstage seem more backstagey, if you will, and not actually a rig that's attached to anything, because the rig so easily fell down. So she did push the rig over, she didn't shake it and they made it look like that. That's not something that can be edited in. The third inconsistency is that she said that she moved the camera out of her face and it appeared more aggressive on TV.
At which point I pushed the camera out of my face, and that's when the footage on the X Factor video stops. But that is not where it stopped. I tried to push him out of my face, and Ollie kept telling him to carry on filming.
As you can see from the original footage, again, she most definitely shoved that cameraman and shoved the camera. Regardless of how she's feeling, that's assault on another person who's simply trying to do their job. Ethically or unethically, it's still wrong to go and assault somebody because you had a bad audition. Fourth inconsistency is that she stated that Nicole Scherzinger did not stand up and say no, baby, no.
Also, Nicole did not stand up and say no, baby, no. That did not happen. Again, she would have had no reason to, because I was gone, he wasn't about to jump off the stage. So they were cut in afterwards to produce the footage for them to show in their fictitious storyline.
So as you can see from the footage, Nicole Scherzinger stands up and says, no, baby, no. She's stating from her audition that Nicole Scherzinger did not do that. However, as you can see from this camera angle, as well as this camera angle, that is exactly what happened, and it would once again be extremely hard to edit that in. If it was a camera angle such as this frame, I could most definitely see somebody saying that this was fake and never happened in that way, because it would have been a simple split screen which would have been easy to edit in for edit staff. However, there are some angles that they just simply would not have been able to edit in, and all of this seems extremely time consuming to do for one audition. The fifth inconsistency that I saw was that she said that she did not go back on stage with her dad as it was presented, and that he was actually on stage speaking to the judges alone.
Anyway, he walked to the front of the stage on his own, and I ran off at the side. I categorically did not leave the stage and subsequently return hand in hand with my father. Once again, the footage has been completely fabricated. Another example of the X Factor's over-imaginative editing. So I ran for the stairs. Whilst I was doing that, my dad had walked to the front of the stage, and on the video, you can't hear what he was saying, and I don't know what it looks like, but he said, you have set her up and you're not going to get away with this, and then walked off on his own.
So as we can see from this footage, her father actually walks up to her and she's confronted with her father as she's going off stage. She looks extremely shocked and they march onto the stage together before she curses out the judges before eventually storming off and doing her almighty performance. Once again, I went through frame by frame and there's absolutely no way that I can see, unless somebody else can leave any information, any editors maybe in the comments to show me that that was something that was fabricated. So why am I even speaking about this? Basically, it seems as if this story has gone somewhat viral on TikTok and is now making the rounds on social media here on YouTube. And whilst I understand that the X Factor staff may have been setting her up for a fail and may have done things to annoy her, exasperate her, make her feel worthless, make her feel less than, but when it came to that audition, regardless of how recklessly the individuals acted around her, it was really up to her to make the decision to react positively or negatively. She clearly chose to react negatively to what happened. Now, had she have told her story about the way the X Factor works and how they'd set her up in the first place and said, I was at breaking point and I snapped, it was a long day and I lost my like it was all of my dreams and my hopes and my goals being smashed simultaneously and I felt my whole world crumble, I would completely understand. However, to tell people that what they saw wasn't exactly what they saw and painting yourself to be a victim in a situation where you literally physically assaulted somebody is totally not acceptable.
Especially after it's been reported that she had been arrested by the police and had to spend a few hours in a jail cell and was let off with a caution for the events that transpired on the show that day. In an interview with The Mirror, Zoe claimed that she doesn't really remember what happened, but she gave her a push but not a punch, as someone said. She stated, "It was caught on CCTV and it was caused by frustration. I shouldn't have done it. I made an immediate public apology to the woman, the judges and most of the audience for my bad language because I don't swear normally. But I was amazed when the police knocked on my door the next day and arrested me. But they were really nice and didn't handcuff me and I was only in the cell for a few minutes." She said, after they interviewed me and they could see that I was a quiet and genuine person who had been pushed to their limits. They had 6 statements from the X Factor staff, including security officers. They said it was not worth their time to investigate further and asked me to accept a caution, which I have done.
But for some reason, when you go through the comment section, literally everybody is giving this lady praise. And I don't think anybody's actually going to the X Factor audition and rewatching it and seeing that that definitely was not the case. Another point that I wanted to add in is that when they were asking her about Pink, she had an opportunity to not talk about Pink. She could have said, honestly, I'm just here to get away from the Pink narrative, so for that reason I really don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about me. I have an identity too. My name's Zoe. She could have steered the conversation into a different place. However, I do genuinely believe that because she wanted this so bad, because she wanted to be on the X Factor and have all of her dreams come true, she went along with pretty much what the production staff was saying and it bit her in the arse. But that's just my personal observation, because I was like, well, you know, you could have just not talked about Pink. You could have just declined. It may have stopped an opportunity for you, but at least you would have stayed true to yourself. At the end of the day, these reality TV shows, regardless of what reality TV show it is, they only sell the souls of people who are willing to have their souls sold. Jesus, they only sell the souls of people who are willing to sell. They only sell the souls of people who are willing to have their souls sold. That is going to fuck you up. I challenge you to say that 5 times. But it's true. Unless you're willing to literally give a piece of yourself, these companies such as Thames TV and Psycho Entertainment, they don't really give a crap. I honestly think that she could have told her story of coercion, she could have told her story of the neglect of the X Factor staff, she could have told her story in various different ways, besides saying that they'd done some stuff in post-editing that would have been literally almost impossible to do. It's sad because she has a very good story to tell, and a story that a lot of X Factor contestants could probably attest to, but she muddies all of the truth with the lies, and that's annoying to me because I wanted to ride hard at dawn for her. But it's hard to ride hard for somebody who isn't telling you the complete and honest truth. Is it possible that that situation was so traumatic for her that she just didn't remember the events as they occurred? Possibly. And maybe the events that occurred happened in a different order to what was presented on TV? 100%. But to say that things that we actually can see with our eyes did not happen is honestly like high-key baffling, because I'm like, but how did it not happen? I need explanations. America, explain!
America, explain! Explain! What do you mean?
Anyway, that is about it from me and my thoughts on this whole entire situation. What do you think? Do you think that there is a way of editing these pieces of information in? Or do you think that she muddied the waters of the actual truth of her story with a hell of a lot of lies? Tell me what it is that you guys think in the comment section down below. Also, if you like this kind of content from me, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up if you like it, as well as hitting the subscribe button with the notification bell so that you never miss a notification from me, Petty Paige. Also, if you're not aware, I do stream on Twitch 4 days a week now, and that is on www.twitch.tv/PaigeChristieUK, and that is where you can find me doing my commentary uncensored, because YouTube love to censor what it is that I talk about. With that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day or evening, whatever it is you're doing, and until next time, guys, it's been Paige.